Hi guys, welcome back to a page in a chapter, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Paige. Today we are reading Kindle Unlimited Hockey Romances. So this came about because last night I was scrolling through TikTok, as you do, and for some reason last night I was just getting loads of Kindle Unlimited recommendation videos. I say for some reason as if I didn't search that up a couple days ago, so my algorithm is just doing its job. But anyway, I found a load of new sports romance series on Kindle Unlimited to try out. All of these series and authors are completely new to me, and so I thought it would be really fun if we just did a whole week of reading Kindle Unlimited sports romances. I'm also pretty sure that they are all hockey romances, but I don't know if that would actually be the case. So I've got 3 new series to try out, so I'll read the first books in all 3 of those series and we'll see how things go. I'm not entirely sure this will be the biggest reading week of my life because I do submit my dissertation this week. It is pretty much there though. It's not it's gonna be stressful in a oh my god I have to submit it kind of way, but not stressful in a oh my god I have so much to do before the deadline. Not a bad situation to be in. So the books that we are reading this week are Forbidden Devil by Alyssa Ivers, Park Boy by Hannah Gray, and Play Fake by Maggie Rawdon. These are all on Kindle Unlimited if you want to go and check them out, and we'll see what my thoughts are on these books. So if you like seeing reading vlogs and romance videos and KU romance videos, then do please feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below. I don't remember what side it's on. I upload videos every single Wednesday and every single Friday, and we read a lot of romance around here, so if that's something you enjoy because you're watching this video, then maybe stick around because we'll definitely have something in common. Also do feel free to check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Page in Chapter for more regular updates, that in case the twice a week videos are just not enough for you, then you can check me out there. And so let's get on into the sports romances. I'm 28% into a book. I keep forgetting the name. Forbidden Devil, an off-limit second chance sports romance, which, yeah, those are the tropes. Off-limit second chance, and it's going okay. I mean, I've been reading for probably an hour and I'm 28% of the way in. I think I'm just gonna speed through this book so quickly. So we follow our main characters, Jazz and Lincoln, and Jazz has inherited the Nashville Devils hockey team from her father. Her and her brother now own the team, and she's getting a hell of a lot of sexism because she is the only woman in the league owning a team or running a team. And then Lincoln plays for that team, and these two have had a relationship in the past. It got cut short because Jazz's dad got involved and told them they couldn't see each other, so that ended. And Jazz taking over the team was how these two reunited, but it's very much off limits. Nothing can really happen between these two because Jazz is already being torn apart by the media and all the men in hockey, and so for her to start dating one of her players would just look very, very bad. And I like that as an element. I think it's a very, very good reason for why these two characters can't just get it on or be together. They very clearly have a connection. They're very, very sexually attracted to each other, and I think the reason that they can't act on it is a very, very realistic reason and a good motivator for why these characters are constantly around each other but not allowed to do anything about it. And I think that's a little bit difficult to do sometimes in contemporary romance, and this book is doing it really well. I will say it's not the best, most not trashy book in the world. There's some phrases, mostly from the Lincoln perspectives. The descriptions of things are a little bit cheesy, but I don't think it's a bad book or a bad time. It's just a little bit cheesy, but that's kind of what you expect from Kindle Unlimited romances sometimes. And yeah, all in all, I am enjoying it. I'm getting through it very quickly. I would see myself continuing with this series. I'm not blown away, but I'm doing just fine with it. And yeah, to be honest, at 28% of the way in, the fact that these characters had very good reason to not be with each other is good enough from a romance for this early on, you know? Like, we'll have to see how everything plays out. It's all looking pretty good. Like, the start of this book, the setup has all been very well thought out. It's very logical. I enjoy that. It's just the writing itself is a little bit cringy. That's never bothered me before, like, ever. I don't care about cringy writing. I am trashy to my core. Updating you at the 40% mark. We have a happy fun time scene. Do any of you guys follow that creator on TikTok? I don't remember her name, but she refers to sexy times as happy fun times, and I think it's fun and I'm gonna use it. Yeah, at the 40% mark, I really don't like early happy fun time scenes. I prefer them at the 60 to 70% mark, because I think you then know the characters a bit more, you're rooting for them a bit more, you've had the relationship development and the character development that you want from a relationship to kind of not make it feel insta-lovey, to really root for the characters. So for all of those reasons that I've just said, like, the opposite is true when it happens earlier, and I worry that because this has happened at the 40% mark, are we gonna have no real relationship development for the rest of the book, or is it just gonna be filled with these kinds of scenes in place of any real character development? It's a concern, and it's just really why I don't like them to be early on in the book, and I just don't think the writing is good enough in this book to really carry it through. If that's the case, we'll see. My battery is flashing at me, so I guess I'm just gonna read the scene, carry on, and I'll let you know how I feel probably at the end of the book. But this is a concern. Okay, it is 3:30 on Bank Holiday Monday, and we're already through book 1. I just finished Forbidden Devil by Melissa Ivers, and I'll probably give it 2 stars. It was fine. Basically my concerns were indeed correct. The fact that they had happy fun times at the 40% mark meant that the next like 30% of the book was essentially just like happy fun time scenes, and if you're like coming into a book for that, like, this might be one of those books for you. Like, it had a lot of smut in it, and sometimes that's what you that's like what you like to read in romance. Then there's a lot of that in this book, and it might be something you enjoy, but I was just looking for something with a little bit more heart to it that wasn't just like sex scene after sex scene after sex scene. So I didn't love it. I'm gonna put a spoiler warning up, but essentially this book ends with everything coming out about their relationship and a load of shit hitting the fan basically with the media, and so the main female character gives up her job, her position as owner of this team, in order to be with the male main character, and that didn't really sit right with me. She does end up getting the position back, but she ends up getting the position back because of her brother. She feels no like inclination or drive to go and get her position as the team, and there's like a discussion of what is she going to do, what's she going to do for work, and she talks about all these offers that she has, but she has no drive to go for any of them. Like, she doesn't want any of them. There's no motivation in the way that her character is written in terms of her getting another job, and I really wasn't a fan of that element, and so that plus all of the smut scenes and the lack of any real like valuable character development, and it was a little insta-lovey. There was nothing other than sex between these characters, and then they have this big confession of, oh my god, I'm in love with you, or the third act conflict happened and our main character was like, oh my god, you know, our male main character was like, oh my god, how does she not know that I'm in love with her? And I'm sat here reading, like, you didn't have any conversations, you didn't have anything, any dates, like any interactions with each other that weren't on page like sex scenes. Like, of course she doesn't know that you're in love with her and you weren't using her for more than sex. Anyway, I'll be giving this book 2 stars. I'll be reading the rest of the series for sure. I always enjoy having a new like hockey romance series. I don't think the writing was horrendous. It was a first book in a series, things could definitely pick up and things like that. I just think the author relied too much on the fact that these characters had had a relationship in the past and this was second chance, and felt that the on-page relationship and feelings didn't necessarily need to be developed, because the fact that they'd been in love in the past and had a relationship in the past carried that development of feelings, and it didn't, in my opinion. So I'll be giving this 2 stars. But the next book that we're going to check out, I basically decided to just binge read romance books today. Should I be working on my dissertation? Yes, but I don't think I'm going to get anything done at 3:30 on a bank holiday Monday anyway, so tomorrow will be my work day. So I'm just gonna have a big reading day today to get it out my system so I can do some work the rest of the week. Now, I don't know whether to read Puck Boy or Play Fake next. I think I'm gonna read Play Fake by Maggie Rawdon because it's just tempting me. Also, I've just realised that Forbidden Devil is my 70th book of the year, which is my Goodreads goal, and I have just achieved my Goodreads goal for the year in August, the last week of August. Granted, it was a 2-star book, which is a little bit disappointing to hit the goal on, but I hit my goal. I will now, I think, be aiming for 100. I read about 2 books a week, so I should, in theory, be able to hit 100 by the end of the year, especially because my dissertation will be in, and I'll hopefully have a bit more time on my hands for reading. Depends how things play out with getting a job, but I'm aiming for 100 now, I think. But yeah, that was my 70th book of the year. Go me! Yes, I think I'm gonna read Play Fake next, which is an enemies to lovers sports romance in the Plays and Penalties series. Honestly, the blurb sounds trashy, and I'm in the mood for trashy. The last book wasn't necessarily trashy enough. It didn't do trashy particularly well, and it didn't do wholesome good romance particularly well, so it, you know, it didn't give me much of anything. Hopefully this one will be, if it's not gonna be like a really good romance, hopefully it's trashy enough that it's just really fun instead. Right, I have to sit down here because we have to do big chats. Much to update you on. So I read Play Fake by Maggie Rawdon. This actually wasn't a hockey romance, so I messed up with the title of this video a little bit. It will just have to be sports romances in general, because this is actually an American football romance. I literally devoured this in a couple hours and I ended up giving it 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book. I think it's really hard to do an enemies to lovers and fake dating. Less so fake dating, but still difficult in a contemporary romance setting or a sports romance setting, because you've got so many tropes that you have to try and find realistic reasons for how these situations have come up. And I often think it works better in a fantasy romance setting where you can be a little bit more creative and ludicrous in how these situations come about than you can be in contemporary romance. But Maggie Rawdon handled them so well. I thought the romance was really like perfectly crafted. I thought the writing was beautiful, and I grew to really enjoy these characters. The one thing I will say though is that the main character is blonde with long hair, and that's just not how I pictured him at all, and Maggie Rawdon is in fact incorrect, because that is not what he looked like in my head for any of the book. But regardless of that, I just really enjoyed it. And I don't normally enjoy football sports romances because I don't enjoy like American football. Like, it's just not something that we have here in the UK that like I would have any understanding of how it works. But the sports element of this, like, it's a college sports romance, and it's not like there is a load of the sport actually in the book. It is much more about like a romance where the main character happens to play football, and I just really enjoyed it. I thought the reason that these two disliked each other was really believable. Calling it enemies to lovers is a bit misleading, because they both know that they're attracted to each other, and from like the male perspective's point of view, like, he's always had a thing for her, always liked her. So enemies to lovers is misleading, but it is kind of like antagonists to lovers type of situation. Like, these two really wind each other up. And what I enjoyed is, even as we went through the book and we got to when they knew they had feelings for each other and they had stuff going on, like, they still were like antagonistic and bickery with each other, and I really enjoyed seeing that, because I don't think that's a dynamic that you have to lose just because you view someone in a more positive light now. And I just really enjoyed seeing the character development whilst also maintaining like the core elements of how these two interact with each other and get along. And in comparison to the first book that we read for this series, there was a hell of a lot more romantic development in this book. We see them spend a lot more time together as a result of the fake dating. It is a tiny bit miscommunication-y, but in a believable way. Like, these two just are so in their heads, and the whole fake dating element of this book just means that they cannot communicate effectively with each other. And if that's going to annoy you, then fair enough, but that's almost what I enjoy about fake dating. The whole, it's starting to feel real, but is it actually real because all of this is supposed to be fake type of feeling is what I enjoy most about this trope. So I loved it, and yeah, I gave this book 4 stars. and I will be continuing with the rest of this series, which I will touch on in a minute. But I did also, because I've just been on an absolute roll with reading, like it's just insane how quickly I have been reading. I think I'm just trying to procrastinate doing my dissertation, in all honesty, but I did do some of that today as well. But I then started Puck Boy by Hannah Gray, and I'm gonna do something that I've literally never ever done before, and that is DNF a book when I am 8% of the way through. And let me explain to you why. So this is a hockey romance, but the prologue to the book is our main character finding out she is a teen parent, and then chapter 1 of the book is our main character's hooking up. That the happy fun time scene occurs at 2% of the way through the book. The two things that I dislike most in romances are when the happy fun time scene comes before the 50% mark and when there are children involved. This is going to be a real unpopular opinion, but I actually don't mind the surprise pregnancy trope at all. But what I like about that is that that is a reason for the two characters to come together, and it often doesn't involve like children themselves. Like as a trope, just personally, I really don't enjoy books where it's like single parent romance, because I just don't like kids. I don't like being around them. I don't like particularly like reading about them. I find it real annoying when so many of the character development and romance development things involve like getting to know the kids, and I just personally don't like it. So the fact that this book, in less than 10% of the book, managed to have my two least favorite things, and the writing as well, is just, I can't get on with the writing style. I'm not in a position to be critiquing writing, like I've literally never written anything in my entire life, so who am I to say what's good or bad writing? But I really don't like the writing of this. So all of those things combined, I'm gonna DNF this book before the 10% mark, which I have literally never ever done before. But I don't want to be in a reading slump from this vlog, and I enjoyed the Maggie Rodden football romance so much that I'm actually going to read the next one in that series, and I also think I might read the next one in the Forbidden Devil series, or I might just go on TikTok and find some more KU sports romances. TikTok is where I find all of my KU recommendations basically. So yeah, that was like a big update that I needed to give you about 2 books, and hopefully I can be on it with the vlogging a little bit more now. The problem is that I'm just binge reading, so there's no time for me to update you because I'm just binge reading everything. Honestly, it's hardly like a problem to have, but it's a little bit of a problem to have. And also I did update my Goodreads reading challenge goal to 100, and I am apparently still 6 books ahead to hit that goal, and so Goodreads believes that I'm gonna hit 100 books this year, which thanks for the faith in me, Goodreads. Hopefully I won't let you down. Yeah, let's have a cozy evening reading, and hopefully I'm a slightly better vlogger for the rest of the week. Good morning guys. I started reading the next Maggie Rodden book. This is Friends to Lovers, which I normally hate because my usual gripe, hang on, they're way too bright. My usual gripe is, you know, they never want to get together because it will ruin the friendship, but stuff's already happening that suggests to me the friendship is ruined, and I also never really understand why they're in the friend zone when they act so not friendsy with each other. It's always like a why this point in time situation, but this author does a really good job of setting up this trope. Like, this author, from what I've seen of these 2 books, doesn't just throw tropes in. They're very integral to the story and they're very well thought out. If my romance novel can even be half as cleverly thought out as these 2 romance books have been, I will consider myself a very happy bunny. And I'm actually really enjoying this book because of it, because these 2 characters have a really solid reason for why they're friends, for why there's chemistry, like why it's happening right now. And basically kind of like it's not a bucket list trope, it's like I want to stop being a wallflower and broaden my horizons, like will you teach me things kind of trope. I don't know what that's referred to, and because of that trope I can forgive that the happy fun time scenes have come very early in this book. My one criticism is you do have to read the first book in order to read this one. Like, actual plot point wise you don't, but we don't really see any setup to the characters or any rooting for the characters or any understanding of the characters, anything of their friendship, because it's kind of just assumed that you've already got that from the first book, and I have already got that from the first book, so I am enjoying this immensely. But if you came into this book just as is, I think you would find the structure severely lacking, and I think you'd be really thrown off by how quickly the happy fun times occurs. It's just too early in the book for any real connection to have formed, but if you've read them in the first book, then you're already used to them, you have that background, you have that connection, you've seen them interact on page. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this book. Again, friends to lovers. I've had a couple that I've actually enjoyed recently, so maybe it's growing with me, I'm not sure. But today, I feel like crap. Can't already tell. I've come down with a cold, which is just what I need 2 days before my dissertation is due in. But yeah, today is a dissertation day. I have a very important meeting in about an hour. I'm terrified for it, and I also feel ill. But once that's over, the day is mine again. So yeah, let's go be productive humans. I'm so close to finishing this book now. I've just been reading it super quickly. I am officially like very ill now, and it's the day before my deadline. Luckily I don't have too much to do. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this book. It's a friends to lovers, but it doesn't necessarily feel like a friends to lovers. Like, it's none of this, like, I think what I dislike about friends to lovers is the pining, like the long sections of the book where you read both characters just like longing for each other, and it's so obvious to the reader that they like each other and all their actions suggest they like each other, and they just like refuse to see that or refuse to like accept it because they don't want to ruin the friendship, as if like long chapters of pining after someone that you're in love with isn't ruining the friendship. But yeah, it's not really like that in this book, but I'm struggling with how I would rate it, because as a book on its own, not very strong. And it kind of contradicts everything that I've said already in this vlog. Like, this book is very, very happy fun time related scenes filled. Like, there's so much smart in this book, which is exactly what I've disliked about other books in this vlog. But the only reason that I can kind of get behind it in this book is because I've read so much of their friendship in the first book, because they were quite they were side characters definitely, but they were quite prominent in it. It kind of makes sense for a friends to lovers in this capacity, because we've already seen their friendship, we already know they have like that connection on a friendship level, so it is the sexual and the romantic connection that they should be developing, and it just works. Like, I just think Maggie Rawdon's writing is really good, and I think she puts together really strong romances, and her tropes just work really well and are really integral to the book. But I do appreciate that I'm contradicting everything that I've said about previous books, but it's just working in this one, and I really like it, and I'm intrigued to see how it all wraps up. I will be continuing with books in this series. Like, I've really found a new favourite here. So thank you, this vlog, for doing that. But ultimately today it is a work day, because my dissertation is due tomorrow and I feel like crap. So that's always fun. It's what it is though, isn't it, really? Not much I can do about it. The deadline's not going to change just because I have a cold. And thankfully everything is done. I just have to work out a final word count and read over my discussion one more time to see if there's anything that I would want to add, change, make sure I'm definitely answering my research questions and whatnot. This time tomorrow, hang on, what time is it? 10:48. I've been listening to Red Taylor's version because today is giving all of the autumnal vibes. So not this time tomorrow, but this time tomorrow plus a couple hours, I will be a free woman. The deadline is not until midnight or 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night, but I plan on going out and getting real drunk, and also I have finished it and I don't want to be like, I don't like to submit super close to the deadline because it makes me anxious, like what if there's issues, whatnot. So I'm thinking that I will submit around 11:30, 12 tomorrow, like lunchtime. So I have the whole afternoon and evening to probably panic, because I tend to feel all of that anxiety over assignments once I've submitted them and it's out of my control, which is why I need to go out and have a good fun time so that I can't panic about it. Yeah, today's a work day, and then tonight I'm taking a really relaxing bath with one of my Lush bath bombs. I'm gonna finish this book that I'm really enjoying by this new favourite author that I found thanks to this vlog, and I'm gonna hopefully feel like a new woman tomorrow. I'm gonna not feel like crap. So stay tuned, everybody. Does she get better? We will see. It is 4:30. You can't see that, but it's 4:30. I've done practically a full day of work and I am about 80% of the way into this book. It does have a third act conflict, which I'm not opposed to. Some people really don't like them. I don't have a problem with them. This third act conflict happened at or around the 60% mark though, which I actually think works to its advantage because we saw our characters having that connection so early on in the book. Like, again, this just feels like really smart planning. And the third act conflict is going on for a little while, but again, I don't mind it because it really feels in keeping with this book and how it was set up and the planning and the thought that's gone into it and these characters and how their relationship has been set up. It all feels really in keeping. So I don't mind it. Also, my tarot rating's email arrived. It says I'd rather be reading romance, which I would, especially right now. You'll see me living in this from now on. I'm obsessed with this jumper. But we're so close to the end of working on my dissertation. It's very exciting times. Just thought I'd hop in and update you a little bit on the book before I do my final dissy stuff and then just read for the evening. I should be able to get this finished tonight. And then I'll have to see if I want to read another one for this vlog or not, or just have a relaxing day tomorrow after I submit my dissertation. So we will see, but I'll catch up with you in a bit when it's solid reading time. It is 7:15 and I'm stopping for the night. I'm running my bath. I'm just feeling like really under the weather. Congestion isn't so bad, I just feel like I have a head cold. I feel fuzzy, feel like I have a temperature, but at the same time I'm like absolutely freezing. And I worked a lot later and a lot longer than I wanted to today. I basically, like, I just have this anxiety that I'm gonna miss the deadline, or that like the deadline's actually tonight and not tomorrow. But like, I've checked on the webpage, I've taken a picture of it to see if that helps relax my brain. I've had multiple people on my course confirm that the deadline is tomorrow and not tonight, but like I just have this major anxiety about it. Like, I'm like actually like getting worked up, and like this isn't the first time it's happened either. Like, I've been waking up in the middle of the night like having stress dreams that I've like missed the deadline, and I'm sure it's just because it's such a big piece of work, and also I'm really proud of it, so I want to make sure that I get the full like marking and not be capped or marked down. I'm just really anxious, but I have to stop because I am not well and I still have tomorrow, and I have like not a huge amount to do. Like, I am just doing final like really nitpicky edits right now. But yeah, I'm feeling really anxious. I'm hoping that getting in the bath and like falling into my book will really help with the anxiety that I'm feeling. Like, I've got this idea in my head and now my brain will not let it go. But let's decompress and chill for the night, and tomorrow I will be done. All this stress will be gone. I finished it. That was a really cute book. I'm honestly gonna give that 4 stars, as well as like the first book. Like, it was just so cute and everything about it really worked for me. I do think that if I had read the second book without reading the first one, I would have probably given this like 2.53 stars. That initial like development of the relationship wasn't there unless you read the first book, or at least it wouldn't have been to my standard without having read the first book. But I did read the first book, and I think my review should be my review, not based on a load of other elements. So I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, and now I'm just gonna relax, watch some TV, chill. I don't feel like I really have the energy to read. I've been reading in some capacity all day, either for my dissertation or for fun, and I don't mind that, but I do feel kind of done with it now, so gonna watch some TV and chill. It is done. It has been submitted. This video is also finished. Like, I read all of the Kindle Unlimited sports romances that I wanted to get to. To be honest, I'm just not in the mood to read any more sports romances. I want to switch and finish reading the Plated Prisoner series, so that's why I'm gonna end this vlog right here. But also, I just handed in my master's dissertation and I'm just feeling some things. All in all, I'm really happy that I did this video. I found a new like go-to sports romance author. I found another author where I will definitely continue with the series. It wasn't bad, wasn't a favourite, but I'll continue. Then one was a miss, but that's okay. It can't be perfect all the time. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and you want to stick around and see more from me. If you do, then please feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below and stay tuned for future content. I upload every single Wednesday, and I think I'm gonna go with every single Sunday. I'm still pre-filming at the moment, but I think it's gonna be Wednesday and Sunday. I'll obviously keep you updated. Also do please feel free to check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Page and Chapter so that you can see all of these updates in real time. Yeah, I have to be quick because I have no storage on my memory card anymore because I have 3 videos sat on it waiting to be edited. But I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. You're enjoying everything you are reading and there are no reading slumps in your future. And I will see you for my next video. Bye guys.